I have made significant inroads in seeing the structure in Genesis and the templates that are in there. And as I look through them, I realize there's still more going on. I just posted a video the other day about number sequences and how they seem to be pointing to something. I'll post a video to that below. I don't want to repeat what's going on. But I keep looking at things going, boy, there's just more here than meets the eye. The arc sizes are something that I've just been, I wanted to nail those down. And I think it's important for me to want to do that for a reason. And that's to help show the story structure, not to understand what they're doing. What they're doing what did they say? Build it by 30 cubits. God told Noah, build it 30 cubits by 50 cubits by 300 cubits, with a roof at this much. There's certain things in there that you go, that's a very specific size. Why would that need to be? And of course, it's not a real story. It is not historical. There's something in there, and I'm beginning to realize numbers are holding things. Okay, if you go to another story, Jason and the Argonauts, the first thing he has to do when he's getting ready to go on his journey, build the Argo. That's a boat. It's a ship. Same story elements. You're going to build a ship. And then you're going to have, build it by the best builder. And then he brings 40 Argonauts. And all of them have different qualities. Here's, somebody that's a good archer. Here's twins that can fly, that have there's different qualities that they're bringing along in Greek myth that they're going to use as story components to defeat whatever it is you have inside. There's going to be frequencies or, it's a bad place you have to go. So they're just adding elements in the story to bring with you on your adventure. It just makes it bigger. So I look at Genesis and go, they've got to be doing the same thing if it's on the template. They need to bring qualities along. I know that the wives and all of that are not. Those are personal characteristics that are going to be a different part of the story. The arc itself is me. Is you. It is whatever. When I'm getting ready to go on the journey, here's how I prepare myself. I need to be this vessel before I go. So I look at those numbers and go, I don't know how they're in there. The 30, the 50, I've downloaded the Bible digitally onto my computer, and I go and I search for words in there. And I'm finding that's where the pointing and things are happening in there. They're using repetitive numbers to carry a message. The repeating numbers I'm talking about are like this. On day 7, thus the heavens and the earth were finished in all their multitude. And on the 7th day, God finished the work that he had done, and he rested on the 7th day from all the work that he had done. So God blessed the 7th day and hallowed it, because on it God rested from all the work that he had done in creation. 3 sevens right there that seem a little bit unnecessary. I think we get the idea. I believe that's there for a more specific purpose. In the next example, we jump down to where God is making his covenant with Noah, but covenant appears 7 times right there. This is, these I'm going to suggest are there for a specific reason. But I'm looking at that arc and I go through and 30, I can't find it. 50, I find 50. I'm sitting there and it's like, I can't really track this down. And then I'm sitting there imagining myself. I do this a lot. It's a part of my process. I imagine that I'm there. I'm on a camel. It's hot. I've got nothing going on. I'm listening to stories. And I'm asking about that. And I ask the questions about the 30 and the 50 or the 100. And some little kid sitting next to me and goes, oh, what about the time? What about the 50 righteous, 50 righteous, 50 righteous, 50 righteous that shows up in the Sodom and Gomorrah story? There's a 50 and there's a righteous right there. And you're like, how did you know that? And he'd say, how do you not? I got it all up here. It's memorized. They can just pull those up. And we're sitting here looking at trying to analyze it with the computer when we have less than they had. They had these memorized. Okay, so 50 looks like it could be righteous. I'm not going to nail that down yet. I'm still looking at the others, but then I don't find the others, really. As I go through, it's like I'm not finding the 30. I'm not finding the 300. There's combinations of numbers. There's other things going on. And then it occurs to me, I'm in Genesis. This is part of a 5-part book called the Pentateuch. I haven't even gotten into the rest of it yet. This is their life for 1,000 years. Making this story and putting more time to it than we do connected to media. They never let it go. So what I'm going to suggest is that there is something structured in here in those numbers and that we can use them as pointers. And that every time we see something repeating often like that, that means something. It's supposed to get our attention in a culture where we are memorizing it. We're not looking at it on a book. We don't memorize it. We don't catch those things. But you have to look at stuff. When somebody says, hey, how are you doing? 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 You should go, what's the matter? Yeah, something's there. It's pointing. It is. Help me. I don't have time. It's too much. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, whatever. There's those numbers might be pointing to somewhere else. It might be a bigger. I'm stuck in one spot trying to analyze it to the nth degree. At some point, I realize what they're doing. I don't know what those numbers specifically mean, but I'm pretty sure they mean qualities and characteristics or something that you bring along. I can proceed with the general interpretation without knowing the things that are that specific. That those are just going to have to grow, and they will emerge as we continue to look at it, memorize it, and see things. There's patterns in here. Right now, I see the patterns, and then I see them disappear off into a fog. It's like, no, they go someplace. I can't see them yet, but I'm starting to see that there's there, and they're structured, and they're purposeful, and that we can find them. And you don't have to interpret to find those, and you don't have to know the template to find those. You just find things that sound like, how come they keep repeating that? Yeah, for a reason. Hello, McFly. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to say that. Let's look for that stuff. Let's look for repeating numbers, sequences that are tied to things like that. Yeah, Sodom and Gomorrah, it does. There's a part in there where it's talking about, and it says 50 righteous, 4 times. So I believe that probably means that one of the things you bring along on your trip in the ark is righteousness, which means what? Doesn't Jesus say that even? For righteousness' sake, the reality. Righteousness means I want to know the bottom line truth, this template, this what is here. Yeah, we're looking for a structure that is on the inside. There's something different to look at here. Anyway, I just want to say that, yeah, this is growing more and more with me, and I'm realizing how important it is to see this in a different way. By the time we put it on paper, structure it up, put verses, numbers, split it up, we can't see it anymore. We lost what's in the Bible because of the way we're looking at it. I will say so far that as far as patterns, I see that the numbers are used in different ways, and I don't know all the ways they're being used. The one I'm talking about right now, that's just one example where you see repetitive things happening, and then you can do a search and find somewhere that seems to tie to, that seems to fit, that seems to be like cross information. That knowledge belongs here. The numbers, however, have other things going on too. There's points in there during the lineages that are different. The numbers are being used in different ways during those, where I think somebody's alive for so long, then has an offspring, then it lives so much longer before they die, which is really weird. And a lot of times, if you like type in a 3, it might appear in there as a compound of something else, 300 and something. And it's like, I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for just 3 or just 7 or just something like that. So you have to watch, but it's like, no, those numbers, you look at them and go, they're so whacked out, they can't be real. But they are holding something. They're important. We have to know what they are. Oh, actually, let me restate that. The lineage is proper. It actually exists on other templates. It exists as parts. In Babylonian, in the Enuma Elish, the origination, it is the time between Lamu and Lahamu before the next, as time goes by. That's what it means. The lineage means time goes by. Between one healing to the time that it's raucous again, takes a while. You get healed and you're like, oh my God, that resolving something feels very good. It takes a while before you go, okay, yeah, I got something else now that I have to go after. There's an elevated feeling and then it drops back down. It's this cycle as we're going on a healing process. And so the lineage is proper. How they're carrying the lineage with the numbers, they're putting something else into it. I'm not worried about the lineage. That just means time goes by. But what do they have snuck in there that's more fun to look at? But there's different structures happening. Right now, just, the repeated ones, that's enough. And then I think as I continue along, comparisons continue to be made and stuff kind of comes online a little bit better. I believe these stories are big. I believe they're incredibly important, and I don't believe they're wasting words or numbers in any way, shape, or form. I believe that they're incredibly meaningful in some esoteric, secret way. And we're trying to Yeah, we can unlock it. This is my thing, that the interpretation process means that if there are things in here that you realize, okay, these things are analogs, we're going to treat some of these as analogs, then all of a sudden you treat everything as an analog, that those numbers represent something. They're important, but they're not what they seem. Imagine this mental process where you get up every day and got to jump on the phone right away because we're just captivated by something. And imagine that you don't have the phone and it's way back then, but that story is what you have. I think that it's that big. But you know what? I know the template. I do know the template. What I'm doing now is trying to find out how they're using their analogous terms and what other things they're doing in their mystical stuff. It's a fun puzzle to work through, dissecting it. Anyway, I just want to say that I think I'm prepared now to say, you know what? I think they're using numbers as pointers, and that we can find those. If anybody's familiar with that, if anybody out there really knows, like the rest of Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, have time to look through, or you see those weird things, and yeah, here's something that continually shows this repeat happens right here, that has to, whatever number it is, that's going to be, I believe, a pointer, and that we can track that down. Okay, yeah, help. All right, I wanted to make this video because I thought, man, this is like a major epiphany, and I want other people looking at that. I want people going, oh, yeah, maybe there is. Here, did you look at this? Did you look at that? I need help. I need help. There's too much for me to look at, and I need to focus on the interpretation. So, cracking open history. All right, I hope this was fun. Yeah, if you got any ideas, boy, please. Data, collating, processing. Love one another. See you in the next video.